Crews have been scouring every inch of ground out here in Harlow since early this morning, but there is still no sign of Trakoven Norris. Still, the atmosphere here at the Volunteer Fire Department is full of determination, as crews say they are not giving up.
One sister's love and determination has pushed her to fight for answers after her brother lost his life under strange circumstances 5 years ago. What looked to be a possible drowning in shallow waters may have actually been a body placed in water to cover up a crime. Back in February 2020, a then 41-year-old man made plans to leave his unhealthy marriage but mysteriously lost his life before he could get out. This is an account of things from the perspective of the man's sister, who alleges that something sinister definitely took place on February 2nd, 2020 in Havelock, North Carolina.
Story time on how my brother was found unalive after his wife reported him missing, never called my mom, never called my family, and never helped us try to search for him. Now, here is the actual same Facebook ad that was shared with me by a family member. Mind you, I'm living in Georgia. My brother was in North Carolina. I had no idea. I hadn't talked to my brother that whole day. I figured he had just turned his phone off. He didn't want to speak. But she actually reported him missing. The crazy thing is that my mother lived 5 minutes away from them, and she never got a phone call. My mom found out my brother was missing from me. Here's a second newspaper clipping and news ad where they started the search on February the 5th, scoured the area. They extensively searched the river. There's a pond back there, which basically is just like a little man-made lake. We used to fish in it as kids, and nothing there. No traces, no signs. Cadaver dogs never picked up a scent, nothing. So we're all on foot, out trying to help look for my brother. And lo and behold, guess who never called, never said a word? We never heard from the bitch. Nothing. So this is going to get crazy. So hear me out. This is the flyer that we posted. This flyer we posted everywhere. I mean, it was up there. Sometimes I'd seen it after my brother passed. I saw it up there for months because no one could believe that this was really happening in this small town. As you can clearly see here, the population of Havelock, North Carolina in 2020 was 16,621 people, which means somebody ass was lying and somebody knew something. So this also raised the big flag to the community as well, which also means that they tried to paint my brother's death as a self-unaliving. He was found floating in a body of water. I will also detail in this series, if you stick with me, his toxicology, autopsy, and basically the investigation report that his alleged wife submitted false information stating these things to make it look like my brother was facing depression, aka self-unaliving. So please stick with me. This is just part 1, but I'm going to detail from the beginning of their marriage to the end. Here's part 2 of my brother being found unalive. He was reported missing by his wife, where she never called my mom, me, anybody else, and then she didn't help us look for him. So I'm going to start this with messages that my brother was sending me around my birthday in 2019. My birthday's May 23rd, and this all started then. His covert narcissist wife had a very strong habit of starting things, ruining people's days, ruining people's holidays, etc. This was one of the messages he sent me on the day after my birthday from things that she was texting him. You may need to pause to read, but here's basically where she pretty much took a situation that I talked to her about that I was dealing with and turned it completely around on my brother and a lot of things that supposedly he was not doing to protect her. But as you can read here, she made preparation to leave at the end of the year. This was in May of 2019. Stay with me now. So I'm skipping a little ahead of our messages to when my brother had his surgery scheduled, which was going to be in December, and I told him I was coming. Well, he didn't want me to come, but I was going anyways. But I'm just going to show you the timeline of where she started bullshit after my brother came home from a full colectomy surgery and wanted to make shit about herself. So this was me and my other siblings out for her birthday, which was on December the 18th of 2019. After we leave dinner, my brother's wife sends a picture in our group message and nothing else. And we're all asking, like, who is this? Who is this? And I remember the girl. She's a girl from high school. Nothing more than friends with my brother. I knew that for certain. This is a message my brother sent to my mom on December the 19th, right after all this happened. But what I'm about to show you next is exactly why we knew my brother was dealing with so much and he never wanted to tell us. He told his baby mother because he knew we would be on this girl ass like nobody else's. So if you stick with me, the next part I'm going to show you what happened and what started the day last time I spoke to my brother, and the day he got reported missing after. So this is part 3 of where my brother was found unalive. His wife reported him missing, never called my mom, never called my family, and literally never helped us look for him. This next part is going to be a little disturbing. One, because this was not only 7 days after my brother had a full colectomy surgery, but this girl literally did anything she can to create havoc in my brother's life. And this is the last video I have of my brother's voice. And it hurts me so bad to listen to this because of what he was actually going through. But I'm going to show it to you guys. And this is really very hurtful to me because my brother deserved better than this. And I don't know what triggered her off. But as you can see, the only unaliving that's attempting here is her trying to unalive herself and my brother telling her he's done. Watch and listen very closely.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Because I'm just as fucking crazy as you. Go ahead. Throw it.
Go
Throw
ahead.
another thing.
Go ahead.
Throw another thing.
Go ahead.
You ain't
Go
crazy.
ahead.
You play that shit. I ain't gonna play that
Go ahead.
shit. Hey, best bet is just to go.
You go ahead.
Nobody's scared of me, man. I ain't putting up with this shit. You right. I'm done. You right. I'm done. I'm done. Better yet, you can call them to come get all this shit today. You put yourself out. Is there anything else? Would you like me to leave now? Would you like me to leave now? What is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? I can't do it.
As hard as it's been to watch, it's been even harder to know that this was my brother, a loving father, a loving son, someone that really didn't ever meet a stranger. And to know this is the shit that he had to endure, like close to the last days of his life, I will never forgive this bitch. So fast forward to February the 2nd, when the day he and his wife got in disagreement. She called me at 11 a.m. after sending me a text that just said help. I called her, no answer. I text him, this is what I sent. Mind you, right now I'm confused as hell because neither of them answered the phone. But when I could get my brother on the phone, me and him spoke, and he shared this shit right here with me, which is the page that reached out to his wife and told her that my brother had another woman pregnant and could not tell the person's name, could not tell where he knew him from or anything of that nature. So me and bro hang up. We talked for like 2 hours. Later that night, this is a message that I get from his phone. Do I think it was him texting me? Absolutely not, because this was known to use his SIM card and send messages from his phone. So I asked, did she send you the messages? And this is what he sent me, or whomever was messaging from his phone sent me. So after I read those messages, I said, how does she know that? And this is what my brother or his phone responded back to me. Now, mind you, I got this message as the last text messages that were coming from my brother's phone. And he said something that he's never said before, which my depression runs high. Very unorthodox. And my brother has never used that word in any conversation. So me trying to do my due diligence, I reached out to people I saw were mutual friends with the page. And this was me messaging my brother the next morning. And as you can see, the messages go green. Story time, part 4. My brother was found unalive. His wife reported him missing, never called no family, never talked to anyone, and never helped us look for him. So let's fast forward now. Today's February the 3rd. No one has heard from my brother, and she reported him missing, literally around 4 o'clock. But I'm going to take you back real quick to around 9:30 that morning. I received a call from my uncle via Facebook, and he said my brother never reported to work that day, and that is just not like him. And it wasn't. So I call her, and magically, she just happened to be on the phone calling my 80-plus-year-old grandmother's house, seeing if my brother was there. But she told me she had been rolling all night looking for him. This is a whole different uncle that answered the phone, and he was like, no, he's not here. So when she hung up with them, I gave it to her ass. And I'm talking about real deal. Told her what she was, what she feel, what I feel about her. And if I didn't find my brother, she's going to see me in her nightmares. Now, when they found his truck on the 3rd, the friend, I don't think it was the friend. I think it was my uncle, that same uncle that called me that lived less than 2 miles from where this truck was found, said she was out there with a key and his keys, cell phone, and wallet was in the truck. So his truck was located literally on the hottest block in Harlow. And if you know, you know, this is where the feds would line up to catch people before they raid anybody's house, anything like that. So my uncle being there, and that was the person that actually found the truck, she had the audacity to say to my uncle, "Oh, you don't think he's in the water, do you?" That right there sent me, because this is exactly a half mile from where that area was, if my calculations are correct. But listen to the police. They lied.
Crews have been scouring every inch of ground out here in Harlow since early this morning, but there is still no sign of Trakoven Norris. Still, the atmosphere here at the volunteer fire department is full of determination, as crews say they are not giving up. Now, rescue teams have trekked through heavily wooded area, marshes, and even some houses, trying to find some sign of Norris. ATVs, canines, and helicopters are just some of the methods they are using to get through muddy lowland terrain, which Sheriff Chip Hughes tells me is an obstacle they are currently facing.
Okay, so this makes no sense, though, because for all y'all that are asking why the police aren't doing anything, this is what the fuck our police and sheriff's department is worth down there. Nothing. Nobody is fishing in February in that area. It was cold. And let's also not mention the fact that she made that bogus ass statement about my brother having 15 girlfriends so she could pad her story and play the victim. And this is another reason why I need everyone's help, because I feel like there's no justice being served to my brother. He's being painted as the aggressor here. And by all means, he is the fucking victim. So story time, part 5 of how my brother was found unalive, reported missing by his wife, never called my family, never called anyone, and never helped us look for him. So we're conducting searches through this whole time. My brother's body was not found until February the 13th. We are there. I get there on February the 4th. We go for searches all the way up until I don't go back to Georgia until February the 9th. On February the 7th, which was a Friday, I will never forget this day. We were out close by his job searching, going to hotels, seeing if they had seen him, just trying to find any information that we could. And I get a call from the sheriff's department, and you'll never believe what his wife called them and said. She basically calls them and tells them that he has been found. They can call off the search, and he was with us. So to my surprise, I'm like, what are you talking about? No, we have not found him. We have not found anything. What is she talking about? And the cop, it just got so awkwardly silent on the phone. I had to ask him, was he still there? So none of this looks suspicious at this point, that she's trying to call off searches, making up lies, pretty much playing a delusional card, and God knows whoever else or whatever else she was doing during this time. We still have never spoke to this girl. Never called her. I never did anything. I just went on about my day, because now it's starting to look really, really suspicious at this point. So we leave on that Sunday to go back to Georgia for a couple days. Still no details, no nothing. We're all still searching. Apparently the police and the sheriff's department was still searching. Nobody had any information whatsoever. So my brother's body was here, as you can see, found on February the 13th, floating down, and his body was floating down in the creek less than a half mile from where his truck was found at. I get the call from the sheriff's department. I'm in Georgia. We pack up immediately, and we were already heading back down there, but we had to mentally prepare ourselves for what was getting ready to happen next. And when I say happen next, it's like she just immediately wanted to make every single thing that she could about her. From there, we had not really even spoken to her to plan out my brother's funeral or nothing. We would have did it so much differently, but that's her control factor. She wanted to have control. So we did secure the venue because we knew it would have been way too many people to have it at a church. So we contacted our old high school, and they allowed us to have it at our auditorium. Again, enough space. We put together a few things, but still there was no communication between her or my family at all. The mortician We've been friends with them for years. Their family is like our family. They contacted my mom and said, he needs to be cremated. We cannot embalm this body, and you definitely don't want to see him like this. So fast forward to the day of the actual memorial service. We get there that morning to basically line up at her dad's church. She tries to be very malicious and petty and leave my name off the funeral procession. I'm not worried about that because they all know me and they know how I give it up, and I was about to give it up then, but I didn't. God said something to me, hey, this is your brother, your mother is here, she's grieving, everyone's grieving, just keep it to a minimum, and I did. So we get to the auditorium. Waste Management did their due diligence and sent a brand new truck to lead the funeral procession through the town over to the high school. I thought it was very nice. And it was basically just a memoir because my brother loved his job. He loved going to work. You would just see, if you ever go to his Facebook page, he just posted so much stuff about his job and the things that he was dealing with. But he grew with that job, and I really was proud of him for his accomplishments that he made while he was working there. But we're going to get into the meat and potatoes of why I feel like something was completely off from here. The memorial service was bittersweet. You walk in, she has a picture of his, well, not a picture, excuse me. She has a stand with his work shirts and his boots there. She's got pictures of him on the easels around. Of course, there's no pictures with his immediate family, just pictures with her and her kids and whomever else that was around them. But again, didn't say anything. We didn't plan nothing at all. My brother's obituary was a piece of paper, literally of Xerox copy paper. That's it. Bland picture, no decoration, very bland, but it was very obvious what was put on here was the first key factor of why I said, yeah, something is not right. On the outside of his obituary, it had, and I quote, it had, his death date was February the 13th. As soon as you opened up the obituary and looked at the top, it showed he passed away on February the 2nd. Now, nowhere here has it ever been posted that my brother was unalive on February 2nd. He was reported missing on February 3rd. So how is this a typo? Who wrote this? It was her, because everything in that obituary outlined things about her, how great she was, his loving wife. You weren't a loving wife. And I mean, that's been identified in the previous stories. But these are things that I needed them to pay very close attention to, and it's been completely overlooked. So I 100% agree. This Craven County Sheriff's Department, the state of North Carolina, they've all failed us at this point because they did nothing. We get through the memorial. My brother's cremated. So we buried his biggest urn at the foot of my dad's grave. My dad passed away a year prior to this, almost to the day that my brother was found missing. He passed away February 23rd. We had his memorial service on February 22nd. I just could not bring myself to have it on that same day. That's the only time that I had even really kind of told my mom to reach out to her so we can get these things together, because that's it. That's the only time my mom did. She reached out to her. My mom never called her after that. She's never called my mom, nothing. We get to the burial site. We bury my brother's urn. We put his flowers. We go, we go on about our day. And we never saw her again. That's the last time I saw her. She didn't come to anything else. She never reached out to talk to my mom. She never did anything of the sort. And it's a lot of things that I didn't really look at from there. But a lot of people analyzed what she was doing at my brother's funeral, which was very, very out of it. Like, she just didn't care. She gave no reaction. I got up and spoke. My nephew, I had to stop him because he was getting ready to get up there and probably embarrass her because he was very angry. And I would imagine too, if your father died in this manner and it was no resolution to his case at this point, we don't have anything. So I'm going to fast forward all the way to August of 2020. Again, my mom is still there at the time, and we go back to Georgia. We going back about our lives, and we have to wait for his toxicology and his autopsy report. We get those. So you're going to be very shocked, and I'm going to share this with you all as well. But his autopsy and toxicology report is the most mind-blowing thing you ever would see. Now, I'm going to give you a little backstory really fast. My brother has never taken drugs, anything that was not prescribed for him. He's never drank. If he would drink a beer, he would act like he was so drunk because he just never drank. So he was more of a social drinker more than a binge drinker. Again, the height of COVID happened. A lot of things got delayed. So that's what took so long for us to get the toxicology and the autopsy results at that point. But let's fast forward really fast here to when we got it. I don't know where the scenario was that my brother was sick. He was not sick. He was not doing anything. He had had surgery 2 months before that and was prescribed no medication. So the medication or the opiates that was found in his system were that of hydrocodone, something of the level of that. He would have never even been prescribed that after that because it would have been a trigger, of course, to his surgery. He had colectomy surgery. So as a colectomy surgery, he had a J pouch installed, which basically was just helping him break down his digestive system a little bit better. So now I've got the toxicology, I've got the report, and I've got the autopsy. But it says here that he was basically, his cause of death was asphyxia due to drowning. How would he drown and there was no water in his lungs? Well, then they try to label it as a dry drowning. But I'm just saying, well, if it was a dry drowning, wouldn't it naturally be something if you're alive and thrown into water or jump into water to try to breathe or hold your breath or try to get back to the top? I mean, I'm just saying, no. How would he have done any of this? How would his body have known that he's drowning and he doesn't try to breathe? Because I feel like he was not alive when he was put there, because he definitely wasn't there in the midst of our searches, one bit. So I'm going to share this with you guys, and I want you to tell me what you think in the comments. Story time on how my brother was found unalive, reported missing by his wife. She never called his mom, any family, and she definitely didn't help us look for him. We have his memorial service, very bittersweet. We see nothing of her, never heard anything. She never comes to the burial site. Here we are burying his remains at the foot of my dad's grave, which had only been down there a year, literally to the day. She just continually did nothing but get on social media and write out the craziest things and say to people the craziest things ever. And it's not ever going to be overlooked, in my opinion, because now it's time for me to really get a call to justice. I want to highlight here that this was posted by a family member of hers that I know had a vested interest in my brother, a male. And no one knew what my brother's cause of death was. No one knew anything whatsoever. But look at the significance of what they're trying to paint his death as. This was still right after his death. We had no autopsy, no toxicology, no cause of death. We had no nothing to know. All we knew that there was no foul play suspected when his body was found. But I want you to pause here and read. Read what the summary and interpretation was at the bottom of his autopsy, where basically he had been in disagreement with his wife, sent her a YouTube video saying, "I want to die." This is where it starts to get a little quirky. She's messaging people on Facebook telling multiple stories. Just go through and look at this. She's telling someone that's a mutual friend of my brother's and I from high school this bogus ass story. And it just gets worse and worse every fucking slide. But you know what? We're still not buying it. And I'm telling you right now, she knows that we're not buying it. But she's so confused of how we're going on social media and alleging that she's doing these things when we have ample proof and probable cause to believe that. Well, here's the thing. My brother confided in so many people around her. And this is why I'm so glad that he did, because my brother-in-law pretty much labeled it out for everyone to see it. Tagged her employer, and we all got in her ass. So remember how I said there was no display of empathy, no anything at all at my brother's funeral. People are literally going on posts that she's writing, telling her she killed her husband. My brother's son's mother writes on my brother-in-law's post that they have so much proof that this is what my brother was going through, but magically all this was provided to the police, provided videos, text messages, things of that nature, and still magically nothing's done. My brother's own son, his oldest son, goes on there and says, "You did it," on her post, just flat out. But in the meantime, we set up a meeting with this cockeyed son of a bitch. And of course, he says they have no leads. She's basically checked out. But I just want to mention to you, never was it ever provided to us in the meantime that this is where my brother's truck was found, on the corner of that lot on Highway 101. She turns around, she sells his house 3 years later after letting her brother move in it, never giving my nephews my brother's clothing, shoes, nothing. And my brother was a flat out sneakerhead. He could dress his ass off. None of that was given. Anything given to them was given in a trash bag, literally. But let's not also forget, we bought this headstone for my brother and my dad, and she put this one up there after that. And we knew nothing about it. But I still think it's very weird that, as you can see here, there is clearly a camera on this front door. So I'm very curious as to how this camera was there. And it's been there because this was a picture of the house when it got sold. I know it was there because he said she got this Vivint camera. How did it not pick up anything the day my brother went missing, or you even seeing my brother leave the house, but you told the police it didn't work? I'm going to get justice for my brother, and I don't give a damn what way I got to get it. I'm telling you right now, somebody's going to pay for this shit that they did. And because my brother's not here anymore, it doesn't mean that his story will not get heard, because I'm going to forever scream it. This was my first friend. My brother was my sidekick. Me, him, my sisters, he always was our protector. And it was just him in a world, in a house full of girls. But once my dad and mom split up, they literally went on about their ways, and my brother became our protector. He had his own kids, and he loved them boys unconditionally. He loved his sisters unconditionally. He loved his mother crazy. So him leaving our whole family and him never telling us anything would never happen. And I know this because my mom is so close to her son, and she never had the relationship where things would be a secret. So for him to just leave and not tell anybody anything a year after my dad passes away is crazy. We're going to get these answers. And I know for certain my brother is telling me to continue to press forward, because his story is not over. He deserves justice. His boys deserve to know what really happened to their father. This is not going to be the end of this. So for those of you that have been messaging me asking how can you find her, this is her. Shanna Dixon Walker. She's probably still using my brother's last name on social media, which is Norris. However, I can almost guarantee you she will block you if you question her about anything related to my brother's death.
Trey's life mattered, and I hope that his family are able to get closure in this case. Something truly seems off about what took place, and the fact that his now widow allegedly never searched for him or helped the family does seem strange. I mean, the obituary alone was enough to make you ponder. Then, on his wife's social media, there is no mention or pictures of him as if he ever existed in our life, and that too seems off. I just hope and pray that if there is more to what happened, that it will be revealed very soon. Let me know your thoughts, and if you think foul play was involved. Also, please don't forget to comment your thoughts and prayers for all those in search for answers in this still difficult time. And hit that like button and share to make your people aware. And as always, remember to stay woke. Things change quickly.